back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video. I believe we are on the 13th week of the year. Let's not think about it too hard, right? Let's just not. I've just watched last week's video. I've just pulled up all my spreadsheets. I think we're good to go. I'm going to talk about what I finished, what I am going to be reading, and what I'm currently reading, but not necessarily in that order. Let's do it. So, I think last time we spoke I was reading In an Absent Dream. I don't think I've actually marked that on Storygraph, so I need to go back and do that. And this is a reminder to Editing Judith to do that after this video. I also finished Come Tumbling Down, which is the 5th book in the Wayward Children series, and Across the Grass Green Fields, which is the 6th. I just hammered through those audiobooks. I had a wonderful time doing it. I didn't do Where the Drowned Girls Go because I've read that reasonably recently, and I thought probably time to start my next audiobook now. All of these I really enjoyed. In an Absent Dream was probably the one I couldn't remember the most, as in the one that I had forgotten the most. And actually I really enjoyed it on a reread, especially as someone who really values fairness in life. That one hit home more than I remembered it doing the first time, so that was exciting. And actually I think in the grand scheme of all of the books that have come since, Reagan's story in Across the Grass Green Fields actually fits into things a lot more neatly than it felt like the first time I read it. So yes, I'm now ready to film a video talking about this book, so that's good. Thank you to the commenter who said I should read the short story that comes after In an Absent Dream. It was a wonderful time. Thank you. I'm still a little bit behind on my Animorphs reading. I did finish Animorphs 32. This is the cover. Isn't it fantastic? This is the second book for Animorphs April, so it'll be out in a couple of weeks. I am halfway through Animorphs 33 at the moment. I'm trying hard to focus on it. I'm not very able to be on my laptop at the moment because I've pinched a nerve in my shoulder, and I'm planning on sitting here for the duration of this video and then going and collapsing and lying flat again. So I'll get to them, but it is slow going. I finished Siren Queen by Nevo. This one took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. It's not a long book. It was just quite slow, and it took me a while to figure out the level of magic that was happening, which I think is something that I found in The Chosen and the Beautiful as well. So maybe I just need to deal with that being a problem on my part, and with Nevo books really focus in on how much magic is accessible to people at any one time. I did think this was very good, particularly towards the end. It's a really interesting sapphic story set in 1930s in kind of golden age of Hollywood kind of period, and it features a main character who she doesn't sell her soul to become a movie star, but that's the story it's trying to tell. That very familiar trope of, she just wanted fame, but did she just want fame? Who was exploiting whom, and the secrets and all this stuff, and pre-code Hollywood and all this stuff. I thought it was a really good book. I think if you're planning on reading it, I would take it a little bit slower, and just let yourself enjoy it, and it all comes together. It's not one where you can easily predict where it's going. You just have to let it take you, and all of that stuff. Yesterday I finished A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is a review copy that has been sat on my TBR for quite some time. This book is already out, and I know a lot of people have already read it. This is Rebecca Ross, who is a YA author's first foray into adult fiction, as far as I'm aware. And it did, in a lot of ways, read a bit like a YA book that had been aged up. And I have no real problem with that. When I'm thinking about that and saying it out loud, there's quite often times where I'm like, I wish this YA book had just been aged up a little bit so we could deal with other things. I thought this was fine. It was a 3-star read for me. It was one of those things where I read it and I was like, great, okay, I've read that now. And I think in part it's that kind of Celtic stories are really not for me. I know too much about the time period for not necessarily historical inaccuracy, but just some stuff I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm not nitpicking and being like, you're wearing the wrong kind of plaid. That didn't exist in this period. It's more language that really bothers me, and just generally when things feel like they're trying to be historical but also trying to be fantastical at the same time, doesn't really work. This is far more of a fantasy, and it's very much this is a fantasy kind of Celtic society living on this island. But at the same time, it felt kind of like, I don't need this. This didn't need to be. I liked elements of it. I liked some of the romance. I liked some of the emphasis on communication that this book had. That's always something I enjoy. But overall, I kind of finished it and went, well, it was a book. Nothing about it really screamed huzzah to me. which is sad. But you know what? Not every book can be an absolute winner. Speaking of absolute winners, I am joining the party of people who read Legends and Lattes. Now, this wasn't actually on my TBR for a few months, but I wanted a book that I could read all in one go, and I looked at my TBR and I thought to myself, none of the books from this week are that book, so let's bring in a ringer. I knew I was going to love this, and I absolutely did. Slice of life, low stakes fantasy about an orc who wants to set up a coffee shop because she's fed up with dungeoning around everywhere. It's so good, it's so lovely. Believe what you're hearing. If you just want something that's just nice, and just, it felt like a escapism at its finest. If I could just read books like this, I would. I like me a dark, gritty fantasy, but this just, it was exactly what I needed yesterday when I was it yesterday or the day before? Oh, now I'm feeling lost in time. Oh dear. Whenever I read this, I had a lovely time. It was great. Would definitely recommend 1000%. Okay, so currently reading, I mentioned Animorphs 33, halfway through that. I'm also reading The Memory of Souls. I am primarily doing this by audiobook. I can't remember how far through I am. Several chapters. I don't know if I'm halfway yet. I do have 2 weeks to read this, but if I can bash it out in 1 week, I'll be pleased. I am on chapter 40 of 114, so some way to go. But I'm very much enjoying this. This series continues to be one of my favourites. This one has most of the, how do I want to say, like, fulfilment of a lot of the romantic things that have been building up in various different ways, and I'm really enjoying reading this. I'm loving getting Angela's thoughts on this. Yay for this series. 2 more books to go, and actually, if I'm remembering correctly, House of Always is shorter than this one. So we should be at Discord of Gods before you know it. Oh, great times. And the other thing that I've picked up that is now on the back burner again, now that I've started Memory of Souls on audiobook, was the Tensorate series by Neon Yang. This is on my list of series I would like to finish one day, and I realised that the bind-up was on script as an audiobook, and I thought, now is the time. But now was not the time. So now it will sit half-read for quite some time until I've finished all of these audiobooks. Let's not worry about it too much. I'll get to it when I get to it, but I've marked it as being read so that I don't forget it forever. Coming up the rest of this week, I need to finish Animorphs 33. Do I pretend like I'm going to finish Animorphs 34 and then it's not going to go into next week? I don't know. I'm not feeling like that much of a liar today. I might not finish it. I also have When Women Were Dragons, which I don't know why I'm nervous to start it. I think I need to do some digging first and see what the author's perspective on it is, because there's been a lot of stuff about books where things happen to people of one gender lately. You can Google it if you want to find out more about all of that. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. By the time you're watching this, I will have looked it up. Maybe I'll put something in the description. And I also have Saint Death's Daughter, which I've debated starting a couple of times and also just haven't got round to it. Looking at next week, I have Moroder. I'm starting Worlds of Lunaria again because I've had the 4th or 5th book in that sat on my digital TBR for quite some time, and I'm excited to pick them up again and reread them, having come quite a long way from when I first read them. And I also have Rest of Memory of Souls, Animorphs 35, so that we can get ourselves out of Animorphs April, The Grace of Kings, which is our Space Sirens book, probably for April. We're not 100% sure. There's some figuring out being done. It'll be on Twitter eventually, I'm sure. But I would like to pick this up next week because it's a shorter reading week for me for everything else. So I will be picking it up then. In terms of new releases, I only have one on my list, and it is The Merciless Ones, which is the sequel to The Gilded Ones, which I unhauled it, but I did enjoy it, but I wasn't sure I wanted to read it again. I'm going to see how the reviews shake out for the second book, if it's a must-read or if it's a must-get from the library and read at some point in life. I just don't... It's tricky. I don't want to put more YA on my TBR when I know that I'm not in the mood for that much YA at the moment, you know? I don't want to do the book a disservice by being a person to read it who's maybe not necessarily in the mood. But if you are in the mood, it is out by the time you're watching this. It is out. You can read it if you wish. And if you do wish to read it, please do let me know how it goes. Alright, my camera battery is gonna die, so this was a fairly speedy one because I'm not buying books at the moment. I'm just lying on my bed hoping against hope that my shoulder will stop hurting very soon. Fingers crossed by the time you're watching this, it's sorted itself out. What have you been up to? What are you reading? Please do let me know in the comments below. It's one of my favourite things to do is checking the comments of these videos every weekend or so. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. Thank you for getting me to 1,700 subscribers. It means a huge amount to me. Come hang out on Discord where we have a wonderful time talking about books. Follow me on social media if you're that way inclined. Nothing makes me feel more loved and appreciated than my patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to join their number, that's linked below as well. They have my TBR and my wrap up from the previous month. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, maybe just the TBR, maybe not the wrap-up, not sure, but that will be on there. Thank you so much for watching. We made it before the camera died. That's all from me. Bye! Oh, that's what I say, and I will see you in the next one. Couldn't remember my own outro. There's gonna be some bloopers now. Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and you're watching another episode of Nope, You're Not. You're not doing any of those things. What am I talking about? And I have... Oh, is it near me? It might not be in any of these piles. Oh, no, regret that. Regret twisting my back that way. Let's go this way.